Felix didn't even have time to finish his instant noodles when the alien diplomat kicked open the door with a roar that rattled the light fixtures. "No, enough!" she shouted, her voice a harsh trill wrapped in layers of barely restrained panic. "It keeps growing. Please, human, find a cure!" She was panting, flushed, her ceremonial tunic in disarray, clinging to her in all the wrong ways. Felix blinked once, twice, then dropped the forkful of soggy noodles still hovering near his face. "Okay," he said slowly. "I'm gonna need a little more context." "Growing what, exactly?" She hissed in frustration and whipped around, literally. The sleek, bioluminescent tail emerging from the base of her spine had clearly doubled in size since the last time he'd seen her. It smacked a steel cabinet, denting it with a low metallic whump. "This," she growled, gesturing angrily toward the twitching appendage. "It began after I consumed the substance you recommended. The chocolate. Now it will not stop expanding." "Chocolate," Felix muttered, half to himself. "Right. Earth chocolate. I didn't know it'd do that. You are the xenobiologist." She spat. "Shouldn't you know what your primitive food does to other species?" "Technically, I'm the janitor now," he said, gesturing around the dingy clinic lab. "But I'm moonlight in interspecies snack consulting, yes." The tail twitched again, violently, and knocked over a stool. She grabbed it midair, barely, and glared at him as though he'd personally designed it to grow like a tentacled snake on Viagra. "I require immediate stabilization," she said, her voice dangerously low. "Before the growth becomes irreversible." Felix rubbed his temples. "Okay. First off, let's try not to panic. Second, you do realize how this looks, right? You barge in, saying it's growing, it's out of control, and you need help. And meanwhile, your tail is doing jazz hands behind you. This is no time for human mating jokes. I haven't made one yet, but thank you for the suggestion." She made a strangled noise and sat, well, tried to sit. The tail wouldn't let her. It curled under her like a spring, lifting her back off the seat, then flopped sideways and knocked over his microscope. Her eyes narrowed to slits. "Control it," she muttered through clenched teeth. "I'm not touching that thing until it signs a waiver." She inhaled deeply, nostrils flaring. "Do something." Felix approached cautiously, like the tail might try to mate with him if startled. "Does it hurt?" "No. It's sensitive. Overly responsive. It tingles." Felix coughed to cover a laugh. "That's not helping your case. Human, if you smirk at me one more time, I will end interplanetary relations with a headbutt." He nodded. "Understood. No smirking. Super serious now. Let's start by figuring out what exactly it's reacting to." She bristled. "Your presence, apparently. The moment you entered the holding chamber yesterday, it began to fluctuate. And now..." The tail uncoiled and lightly wrapped around his ankle. Felix didn't move. "It's flirting with me." "It is not flirting. It's literally stroking my sock." She yanked it back with a violent snap. "It acts on autonomic instinct. Not desire." Sure. Classic it's not me, it's my tail defense." Virilzax's face twitched. "Do you know what this means in my culture? That you're dangerously close to third base?" She hissed. "That I've unconsciously signaled biological compatibility. The tail's growth indicates hormonal imprinting. I am now, by accident, engaged." Felix's eyebrows shot up. "To me?" "Yes, you fungal idiot." He leaned against a lab bench, processing. "You know, this might explain why I've been weirdly aroused by your voice lately." She stood abruptly. "I will not mate with a human. I am the daughter of the Crimson Spiral House of Itheron. Our lineage predates your species' discovery of pants. That's oddly specific. Also, your tail's pulsing. Stop pointing it out." Felix opened a drawer and pulled out a diagnostic wand. "Let's scan it. Maybe I can neutralize whatever chemical's triggering the reaction." He waved it near the tail. It shimmered, vibrated, and let out a small purring noise. Felix blinked. Did it just moan? She looked mortified. Shut it off. Working on it. He adjusted settings and tried again. The tail twitched and smacked his hip, gently this time, like a pat. Then it curled in the shape of a heart. Virozaxa covered her face with both hands. Please kill me. No way, Felix said, grinning. You just proposed using your butt snake. I will feed you to my planet's flame maggots. No refunds on the chocolate, by the way. I will burn your entire species. He stepped back, hands raised. All right. Plan B. We'll try a suppressant. I've got something in cold storage meant for hormonal flare-ups and telepathic eels. Might just do the trick. She nodded, teeth clenched. Do it fast. I must speak to the Trade Council in 2 hours. If they see this, they'll think I'm compromised. Mating while on diplomatic mission is a criminal offense in 5 systems. Felix opened the fridge and grabbed a vial. Do you want me to inject this directly into the tail? She froze. What happens if it doesn't work? You'll either deflate like a sexy balloon or explode into confetti. Not totally sure. Her eyes flared. That was a joke. He smiled. Mostly. She took a deep breath, turned, and braced herself against the table. The tail lifted obligingly, swaying like it knew what was coming. Make it quick, she muttered. Normally people say that to me after dinner. She hissed again. Inject me or perish! He pressed the vial to the base and administered the dose. The tail froze mid-sway. Viral inhaled sharply. They both waited. 1 second. 2. 3. Nothing. Then the tail shuddered, and grew 2 more inches. She turned, fire in her eyes. You made it worse! Felix backed up. Okay, plan C. C for castration. No need to get violent. We still haven't tried music therapy. Music? Music? Maybe something smooth. Barry White. Or that one song with the sax solo. I swear, human, if you play that careless whisper, I will disembowel you with my prehensile shame. Wait, you name your body parts? Her voice dropped to a growl. You're enjoying this. Felix raised his hands. A little. But only because you're glowing, vibrating, and threatening me with alien seduction crimes. This is the weirdest shift I've ever had. She sagged against the bench. Just fix me. Felix picked up his tablet. Don't worry. I always say, where there's throbbing, there's hope. Her tail curled like a scolding finger. And this time, Felix didn't even flinch. Virozaxa was pacing now. Or rather, attempting to pace. The tail, now nearly 6 feet long and sporting an occasional faint purring sound, kept knocking into things. Chairs were overturned. A rolling cart was pinned against the wall. Felix watched her, arms crossed, chewing his bottom lip in half amusement, half concern. I swear it's gotten longer again, he said. You think? She snapped, slapping the tail against the floor like a whip. It has grown so heavy I can no longer balance properly. I walked into a vending machine on the way here. It vended without payment. Felix tapped on his tablet. It's adapting then. Becoming prehensile. Possibly semi-sentient. Splendid. Now I've got a sentient growth that wants to dance with me while I'm being court-martialed. Okay, let's try this. Hormonal regulation through soundwave resonance. Low-frequency audio might calm your internal systems. Like a mood stabilizer. Just sexier. I beg you, she muttered. No human mating ballads. Felix shrugged, pressed a few buttons, and the lab speakers whined to life with a deep bass hum. Ambient synths followed. The tail perked up immediately, then began to wave in rhythm. It's dancing, Felix whispered. I hate this, she said. No, seriously, it's doing the worm. It's literally doing the worm. She groaned. Turn it off. He hit pause. The tail drooped like a guilty dog. Didn't realize it had such personality, he said. It doesn't, she snapped. It's reacting to your species' obscene frequencies. You humans transmit perversion even through music. Look, you're the one vibrating. Maybe Earth just speaks to your deeper instincts. Don't flatter yourself, human. My body is experiencing a chemical malfunction, not romantic entrapment. Felix smirked. Yeah? Then why does it curl around my leg every time you blush? She whirled around, cheeks darkening to a deep violet. I do not blush. Your neck fins say otherwise. She slapped his arm with the tail, just hard enough to sting. He yelped, then laughed. Is this foreplay where you're from? She opened her mouth, thought better of it, then sighed. Fine. What's next? Touch therapy. She narrowed her eyes. Excuse me? Relax. It's clinical. Controlled. There's a field test for involuntary musculature tension. If I touch the tail at certain points, we can gauge responsiveness and maybe isolate the growth trigger. This sounds like nonsense. It is. But it's also all I've got. She hesitated. Then, grudgingly, extended the tail. Touch it and I swear, if you laugh. I won't, he said, wiping his palms on his lab coat. Much. He touched the base gently. The tail rippled. Then coiled gently around his wrist. That's not bad, he muttered. Very warm. Slightly moist. Smells like cinnamon? It secretes pheromone oils. Yours triggered its activation. It's meant to attract compatible mates. So I'm like your walking biological Wi-Fi. Please don't say that. He slid his hand along the length. The tail quivered, then sent a light pulse of bioluminescence down its length. Beautiful, he whispered. Creepy. But beautiful. It's bonding, she said quietly. He paused. With me? She nodded, expression unreadable. It recognizes your scent and biometric rhythm. My body is building compatibility markers. Soon there will be no reversal. So you're saying if I keep rubbing it, we're legally married? She jerked the tail back. Do not rub it again. Got it. No rubbing without verbal consent. Message received. She crossed her arms. This is beyond embarrassment. I am the lead voice of Itheron's peace delegation. I once negotiated the surrender of a planet by sheer gaze alone. And now I'm hiding in a janitor's lab because my tail thinks your sweat is an aphrodisiac. You're not hiding, Felix said. You're seeking answers. And you're doing it with surprising grace considering your tail just tried to lick me. It licked you? Only a little. She groaned and buried her face in her hands. I am ruined. Hey, he said gently. You're not ruined. You're adapting. Look at you, your physiology is rewriting itself in real time. That's amazing. She looked up. You find this fascinating? I find you fascinating. That silenced her. For a moment, the air in the room felt heavier. Closer. She watched him. He watched her. The tail hovered between them, uncertain, as if unsure whether it was supposed to grab him or retreat behind her like a shy cat. Felix broke the moment. Okay, let's try a suppressant again. This time something non-chemical. Manual neutralization using electrostatic pressure. She blinked. That's a lot of words to describe touching me again. Trust me. I'm science-ing real hard over here. He reached for a static wand and turned the dial to low. You ready? She exhaled slowly. Just don't make eye contact. He activated it. The wand hummed softly. He pressed it against the base. The tail jolted. A burst of pink light flashed through its segments. It let out what could only be described as a coo. Felix froze. Was that a moan? No. Because it definitely moaned. It released excess pressure, she said firmly. It said my name. She yanked it back. That's enough. This isn't helping. I don't know, I feel like we're making real progress, emotionally, sexually, diplomatically. She grabbed him by the collar. One more joke and I will breed with you out of spite. His brain short-circuited for a beat. Wait, what? She blinked, then slowly released him. I did not mean to say that out loud. You threatened to hate-mate me. That was a diplomatic metaphor. For what? Silence. Felix took a step back, heart pounding. Okay. I think maybe you should lie down. I think maybe I should hurl myself into a volcano. We'll call that Plan D. She slumped onto the exam table. The tails slithered up and curled protectively around her waist. Felix leaned against the counter. So, if we don't fix this, what happens? I am recalled. Publicly shamed. Forced to undergo spiritual uncoupling and ritual sterilization. He winced. Ouch. Unless the bond completes. Then I must return to my people with my chosen mate. He swallowed. And that'd be me. She didn't answer. I guess it's flattering, he offered. I've never been chosen by a tail before. Still no answer. Then she said very softly, You're not entirely intolerable, human. Felix grinned. Wow. That's practically a proposal. Don't push it. I'm not. I swear. Just one last question. She raised an eyebrow. Do I get a tail if we, bond? She stared at him. You already have enough appendages for one species. He held up his hands. Just asking. For science. Her tail flicked toward him, lightly tapping his chest. And this time, he didn't move away. Felix stared at the screen, slack-jawed. Well, that's new. Viralzaxa was hunched beside him, tail slinking nervously under the console. Her skin shimmered faintly, a pearlescent flush that only seemed to deepen the more she tried to hide it. What did you find? He pointed. Your DNA is rewriting itself. Again. She scowled. You said that yesterday. No, I said it was adapting. This is rewriting. You're not just reacting to me anymore, your body's preparing for something. Some kind of merger. It's like biological software installing a bonding package. She narrowed her eyes. Explain in words that don't make me want to stab you. You're evolving toward interspecies compatibility. With me. A long silence. Her tail thumped the floor with a slow, resigned slap. I'm going to die here, she muttered. On a primitive planet. Mated to a noodle-eating bipedal fungus with a disorganized sock drawer. Felix smirked. It's not disorganized. It's randomized for excitement. She threw a glove at his head. He caught it. Look, this isn't all bad. Enlighten me. Well, you haven't exploded yet. She didn't laugh. Instead, she turned back to the screen, her voice low. This isn't a joke, Felix. If I return to Itheron like this, the High Council will declare me compromised. Do you know what they do to compromise diplomats? Public flogging? Worse. Reality TV interviews. He winced. Okay, that is cruel. I'll be a walking scandal. A literal symbol of interspecies shame. Felix scratched the back of his neck. Then maybe don't go back. She blinked. What? Stay here. Until we fix it. Or figure it out. Or until your tail stops trying to cuddle me in my sleep. Her cheeks flushed again. I was cold. You wrapped around my torso. You were cold. You whispered my name. I said remove yourself. You said Felix. She threw her other glove. He ducked. I'm just saying, he continued. Maybe this whole, whatever this is, isn't a curse. She looked away, lips tightening. The silence stretched again. Felix walked over and gently touched the tail. It twitched, but didn't recoil. You know, he said quietly, I've spent most of my adult life getting ignored by every human woman with decent vision and a pulse. And now suddenly I'm the dream date of a glowing alien diplomat whose tail keeps spooning me. That is not how this works, she whispered. He smiled. No. It's better. She turned to him slowly. Her voice, when she spoke, was quiet. You don't understand what mating means to my kind. It's not casual. It's sacred. It's final. I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm just Asking you not to hate me for making your tail act weird. Her expression softened. I don't hate you. He raised an eyebrow. Not entirely. They stood close now. Closer than either had planned. The lab lights dimmed automatically for evening's cycle. Her scent, subtle spice and ozone, drifted toward him. His pulse jumped. Tell me the truth, she said. I have been. No jokes. No deflection. Do you feel something? He looked at her, truly looked. Past the ceremonial armor, past the glowing skin, past the utterly absurd situation. And he nodded. I do. She exhaled. The tail curled upward between them. Slowly. Curiously. And then she leaned in. Their lips almost met, until the tail slapped them apart with a wet-sounding thud. They both blinked. Did it just cock-block us? Felix asked. Viralzaxa groaned. It's developed autonomous boundaries. Kill me now. The tail flicked once. Like it was laughing. Felix cleared his throat. Okay. Emotionally, this is a minefield. Biologically, it's a horror show. But romantically, I'm still in. You're insane. I've been told that by every ex-girlfriend. And one therapist. She sat on the examination table, her posture suddenly uncertain. I used to dream of marrying a crystal blood general with perfect posture and a war fleet. Someone strong. Respected. Not you. Flattering. But you make me laugh. Even when I want to kill you. And this, she gestured to the tail, has only reacted like this to you. So perhaps the universe is playing a cruel joke. Or perhaps, there's something real here. Felix grinned. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me while vibrating. She laughed, a real one this time. And the tail relaxed. It even curled into a heart on the floor. Felix looked down at it. Okay, that's just showing off. Suddenly, the lab lights turned red. A siren blared. They both froze. Unauthorized bonding detected, a robotic voice announced. Council notification initiated. Intergalactic ethics breach logged. Penalty, forced sterilization and/or arranged marriage. Viralzaxa bolted upright. They're watching? They're always watching, Felix muttered. I told you to cover the cameras with tape. You told me that while you were shirtless and trying to fix my tail with a whisk. I stand by my methods. A holographic screen activated, revealing an image of a scowling alien official with 7 horns and the emotional subtlety of a hammer. Ambassador Viralzaxa. Is it true? Have you bonded with the Earth mammal? Viral tried to speak, but the tail raised itself like a flag and curled lovingly around Felix's arm. The official scowled deeper. So. It is true. Felix sighed. Guess we're Facebook official now. The official glared. You must choose. Disavow him and undergo mind scrubbing, or embrace the bond and face exile. Viral stood there, chest rising and falling. Eyes burning. Heart racing. Then she reached down and took Felix's hand. I choose him. The hologram went dark. Felix blinked. Wait. That was it? No ceremony. No bureaucracy. Just exile and shame. Still better than my last breakup. She smirked faintly. I'm serious, he said. There was a raccoon involved. I don't want to know. I was wearing nothing but a pizza box. I said I don't want to know. Their laughter echoed in the lab. For the first time since this madness began, the tail didn't pulse, twitch, or vibrate. It simply rested. Like it had finally gotten what it wanted. Felix glanced at it. So, does this mean it's done growing? Viral looked at him, eyes gleaming. No. Now it's just beginning. The quarantine dome smelled like mango body butter and burnt circuitry. Dr. Kane wiped his brow and tried not to stare at the 10-foot alien woman convulsing on the biobed, clutching at her hips like her pelvis was trying to escape orbit. Her translator kept short-circuiting from the emotional overload. The last words it managed were, "It's bigger than my diplomatic shuttle, human." I demand, MMHNNNGGH, an embargo. I told you not to eat the Earth's strawberries and mix them with Varnock pollen. Kane muttered as he adjusted the scanner. That's practically alien Viagra dipped in liquid consent. I was trying to be romantic. Valrus panted. Your Earth-bonding customs are all about sweet things before physical engagement. I thought you'd be impressed. I was impressed. Until your lower half started glowing. Valrus let out a long groan, her 6 fingers clawing at the side rails. I swear to the stars, if this turns into another interspecies diplomatic incident, I'll murder your planetary council with my bare thighs. Kane looked around for a sedative. There were none. The machine monitoring her vitals made a beep that sounded too much like a snicker. Even it was judging them. Suddenly, her stomach emitted a soft pop, like an inflating balloon bursting a button. Kane backed up. Okay. I think it's evolving. Evolving? What do you mean, evolving? You're part of a rare hybrid reaction. That wasn't aphrodisiacal stimulation. That was cross-species gene activation. The Varnock pollen plus the strawberries plus, well, me, seems to be rewriting your biology. Valrus blinked rapidly. You impregnated me with, what, human? A symphony of muscle? Technically, you impregnated yourself. I was just a catalyst. A hot, sarcastic catalyst with great abs, but still. She threw a pillow at him. It dissolved midair. That pillow was a diplomatic gift from the Emperor of Cernax. That pillow tried to eat my wrist last week. A soft humming began. Low. Pulsating. Valrus looked down at her belly, which had started to emit music. Faint jazz. From inside her womb. Kane stared. Is that Miles Davis? I have no idea what that is. She gasped, sitting up slowly. But it's in 6/8 time. Suddenly, her chest puffed up like a balloon, literally, and deflated with a whoosh, causing her to moan and collapse onto her back. Tell me this isn't how you humans do foreplay. Kane held up his hands. Hey, I'm into some weird stuff, but inflatable jazz pregnancies? That's new even for me. You're not helping. No, but I am entertained. She shot him a glare. You are not putting this in your autobiography. It's going in my Netflix pitch, babe. Just then, the emergency broadcast system blinked alive with a buzzing tone. An automated voice said, Medical alert, growing alien abdomen detected in Sector 3. Possible catastrophic climax approaching. Seek shelter or offer emotional support. Valrus groaned into her hands. Kane turned to her. Okay, on a serious note, what do you feel? A burning desire to rip off my uniform and start primal mating rituals on the ceiling, but I'm resisting. Good. Because your ceiling routine broke a plasma light last time. I'm not apologizing for that. He grinned. Didn't ask you to. Suddenly, her body stopped twitching. The humming ceased. The glow dimmed. For a moment, everything was still. Then a pop. And another. Dozens of tiny orbs, soft, gelatinous, glowing blue, began oozing out from her back. Kane's mouth fell open. Is that eggs? Valrus stared at them in horror. I'm not even an oviparous species. Not anymore, you're not. The orbs bounced gently, made chirping sounds, and rolled around like excited puppies. One of them licked Kane's ankle with a gooey tongue. Okay. This might be the weirdest Wednesday I've had in a while, he said flatly. I'm a diplomat. I was supposed to attend a peace summit in 20 minutes. I think we just accidentally created a whole new alien race. And one of them's trying to mate with my shoe. Valrus looked down and then groaned. You're not allowed near pollen ever again. Kane looked thoughtful. I wonder if we can sell this to a fertility cult. I swear, human, if you profit from this, I will summon a black hole in your bathtub. The chirping orbs began forming a little conga line. Kane took out his communicator. Hey Siri? Set reminder to never have strawberry pollen bedroom experiments with 7-foot-tall alien bombshells during a solar flare. Siri replied. Reminder set, stop being an absolute dumbass. Valrus flopped onto her side and pulled a blanket over her face. Just kill me. No can do. You're now officially the mother of Groove. She peeked out. I hate you. I know. But you also kinda love me. Don't make me ovulate another disco egg. Kane sat beside her and patted her shoulder. Next time, we'll just do dinner and a movie. She snorted into the blanket. Next time, we do My Planet, where your genitalia doesn't rewrite genetic history. The conga line of orbs crashed into the bed. One of them burped in jazz. Valrus looked at Kane. You're naming all of them. What? No way. You made them. You named them. I'll be over here, recovering from having my uterus turned into a damn sound system. Kane looked down at the bouncing blue blobs, sighed, and began. All right. You're Duke. You're Coltrane. You stop licking that, and you're dizzy. Valrus muttered. Next time, I'm mating with a cactus. Kane grinned. Only if it doesn't keep growing. She threw another dissolving pillow. The room lit up with a neon FZZZT and applause from the eggs. Roll credits. And subscribe to the story channel, because where else are alien eggs gonna burp, Jazz?